welcome back to my channel. Bonjour à tous, bienvenue sur ma chaîne. If you're new here, my name is Omoshine, and on this channel, I talk about everything pharmacy, beauty, relationships, and fashion. If these are things that you feel you would be interested in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you would be the first to know. Today's video is going to be about all of the things that you need to complete before you can become a registered pharmacist in the US. So if you're a pharmacist and you're living in a foreign country but you have plans to come and live in the US and become a registered pharmacist, this video is for you. If you're already in the US and you want to become a registered pharmacist, this video is also for you. So in order to become a registered pharmacist in the US, there are 5 steps that you need to complete. But before I talk about the 5 steps, I just want to tell you that all of these things that I'm going to mention in this video are not things that are going to happen overnight. They're going to take a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment, a lot of discipline for you to achieve them. But it's doable. If you're a pharmacist that wants to leave your home country to come and settle in the US before you plan on leaving your country to come here, I want you to do one thing. Go to your room, sit there, pray, ask God for patience, because you're going to need a lot of patience. You're going to need a lot of patience to do all of these things that I'm about to talk about. So let's go to the 5 steps. The first step would be to take the TOEFL exams. But first, before I talk about the TOEFL exams, I just want to tell you about the National Association Board of Pharmacy website. The website is very informative, and that is the place that you're going to find detailed information about everything that I'm going to talk about. So if there's anything at all that you should take from this video, it should be that website. Check the website out and you would find everything that you need to know to become a registered pharmacist in the US. Now, back to the TOEFL exams. This exam is a computer-based exam, and it has four sections to it. It has the reading part, the writing part, the listening part, and the speaking part. So before you take these exams, you need to first of all go to the TOEFL IBT website and register for the exam. The fee should be around $185, and after you've registered for the exam, the TOEFL IBT is going to provide you with a lot of resources that you're going to use to study for the exams. And there are also books on Amazon that are very good. The TOEFL IBT books on Amazon, you can buy them very cheap and you can use them to study and pass your exams. So for all of this section, in order for you to be approved to take the second step, which is another exam, the committee that conducts the exam requires that you get a minimum score on all of the 4 sections in the exam. They require that you have a score of 22 in the reading part, a score of 26 in the speaking part, a score of 21 in the listening part, and a score of 24 in the writing part. If you have all of these, it means that you've passed the exams and you are now qualified to go to the next step, which would be to take another exam. And this exam is called the Foreign Pharmacy Graduate Equivalency Examination. Before you would be approved to take this exam, there are lots of documents that you need to provide. And one of them would be a proof of your degree to show that you have completed 5 years of pharmacy school in your home country. And also you would need to provide your registration, your license, to show that you were practicing pharmacy in your country. And this FPGEE committee also requires that you send in your transcripts to the educational credential The FPGEE exam is also a computer-based exam, and as of January this year, they require that you pass the TOEFL before you can be allowed to take it. Before, pharmacists used to take the TOEFL, used to take the FPGEE without taking the TOEFL exams, and they were given about 2 to 5 years to take the TOEFL exam. But now you have to take the TOEFL before you would be allowed to take the FPGEE. The FPGEE is a comprehensive measure of knowledge in 4 major areas, which would be 10% your basic biomedical sciences, which would be your microbiology, your physiology, your immunology, and your biochemistry. And it also has 33% of your pharmaceutical sciences, which would be your medicinal chemistry, your pharmacology, your pharmacognosy, and your pharmacokinetics. And there's also a clinical pharmacy section that constitutes about 35% of the exam. And your clinical pharmacy would involve your clinical pathophysiology, your clinical pharmacokinetics, your patient assessment, your clinical pharmacology, and therapeutic decision making. And 22% of the exam constitute of your social, your behavioral, and your administrative pharmacy, which would include your pharmacy practice management, your pharmacy law and regulation, and a lot of other stuffs. After you've passed your TOEFL and your FPGEE exams, the FPGEE committee is going to give you a certification that you're going to use to contact the board of pharmacy in your state, and they would show you instructions on how to go about finding a place that you would work as a pharmacy intern in order to try to put together your internship hours. So in total, you need to have 1,500 internship hours, which would last for about 10 months if you're doing 40 hours a week. So for your internship, I would recommend that you do part of your internship in a hospital setting and the other half in a retail setting, so that you can at least have an idea of which part of pharmacy you are going to settle for. Like when you eventually have your license, when you are eventually a registered pharmacist, you're going to know which part of pharmacy you actually want to settle for. Yeah, so after you have your internship hours, the next step would be to take the NAPLEX exam. The NAPLEX exam is the North American Pharmacist Licensure exam. This exam is designed to evaluate your general practice knowledge, and it has 250 questions, and it's a 6 hours exam. And the questions are delivered in a computerized and fixed form. So 200 of the questions are going to be used to grade you, and the rest of the 50 questions would be just test questions. So the fee for these exams is around $475. So after you have passed your NAPLEX exams, the next step is going to be to take the multi-state pharmacy jurisprudence exam. This exam is designed to assess your application of law and regulation for the specific state. It's a 120 question exam. It is also a computer exam. It is a multiple choice question exam, and it lasts for about 2 to 5 hours, and the fee is $150. So after this exam, that is it. You are now a licensed pharmacist, and you are now eligible to work in the US as a pharmacist, and you are happy. And after all of the hard work, this is the end, and this is the last thing that you need to do. You are now ready to be rich. You can now apply for jobs anywhere, any part of the US, to work as a registered pharmacy. Just that let's say, for instance, if you become registered pharmacist in Ohio and you want to leave Ohio to go to another state to practice pharmacy, you are going to need to take the law exam again, because it varies by state. For every state you go, it requires that you take the law exam of that particular state. So this brings us to the end. So all of the 5 steps that you need to complete to become a registered pharmacist. There's another pathway that you might take to become a registered pharmacist in the US, which would be going back to school. So in the US, what they offer here is the doctor in pharmacy degree. So you might want to go back to school. If you don't mind starting afresh, you would go back to school and graduate and take the NAPLEX and have a doctor in pharmacy degree, and to have that, it depends state you live in. So for us living in Ohio at the Ohio State University, for you to get admission into the Doctor of Pharmacy degree program, they require that you should first of all have a bachelor's degree, and they have their prerequisite classes that you need to take before you can start the Doctor of Pharmacy program. So yeah, what they do is they'll ask you to send in your transcript, because they do their evaluation for themselves. So you send in your transcript and they would evaluate it. And after they've evaluated it, they will tell you what prerequisite courses they feel that you need to take. So you would spend a little bit of about 12 to 18 months to take all of the prerequisite classes. It depends on the frequency at which you want to take your classes. So you would take the prerequisite classes, and on completion, you would now be admitted into the Doctor of Pharmacy program, which would last for 4 years. And after that, you can now take your NAPLEX, because usually their internships are done when they are in school. They don't do internship after you've completed the degree. You do it whilst you are doing the course. So it lasts for 4 years. That might be something you also want to look into. It all depends on you, So if you're thinking of starting afresh, there's also this program that they do. It's a combination of the Doctor of Pharmacy and a master's in business administration. It lasts for 5 years. I feel that is a really cool thing, to actually combine your PharmD and your master's in business administration. There's many advantages to that. You don't have to leave school and then later come back for your postgrad. You graduate with double degree, a master's and a PharmD. That is a really cool thing to do. So if you're thinking about if you're considering starting afresh, that is something that you might also want to look at. And I also have some few recommendations that I want to make, based on my experience here. So whilst you're waiting to take your FPGEE exams, whilst you're waiting for the committee to approve your documents, it will be a good thing to work as a pharmacy technician, because working as a pharmacy technician gives you an advantage of knowing the brand names of the drugs. And not only that, it also helps you to understand how the pharmacy system works in the US. You're going to learn a lot of things. Customer service skills is going to be improved. Your communication skill is also going to be improved. You're going to learn a lot of things about insurance and the HIPAA laws, and there are so many things that you would learn when you're working as a pharmacy technician. So by the time you become a pharmacist, you would be familiar with most of the things. So if you want to work as a pharmacy technician, there are also steps that you need to follow. The steps that are involved in becoming a pharmacy technician are quite easy. To start with the process, you first of all need to send in your high school certificate to any of those evaluation services. It can be World Evaluation Services, it can be the Educational Credential Evaluators, it can be the SPANTRAN. Either of these companies can evaluate your high school diploma. This is what you're going to use to send it to the Board of Pharmacy. It actually varies by state. For the state of Ohio, they require that you have a TOEFL score. So it's going to be your TOEFL score, your high school certificate, and a background check. For other states, I'm not too sure. They're really particular about whether you have a TOEFL or not. But for the state of Ohio, you need to have it. So it's going to be your TOEFL, your high school certificate, and a background check. So after you have all of these things, you can now send it to the Board of Pharmacy, and the Board of Pharmacy will give you one more thing. You pay a fee of $25, and the Board of Pharmacy will give you a license to practice as a pharmacy technician trainee. So you can now use that license to apply for jobs in retail setting. So this brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you don't get to miss anything from me. Thank you so much once more. Ta-ta! Bye guys. See you next time.